Benjamin Impossible. Chapter 34. What about Charlie? Faceplates! Benjamin yelled in panic as he activated the protective faceplate that sealed his spacesuit's helmet. What? Lemon-Time asked, slower on the uptake. Rather than answer, Benjamin slapped his hand forward and activated the captain's spacesuit visor. No sooner did the mask seal than the entire glass window shattered. Instantly, the air inside the large room blew out into the void, along with much of the furniture, broken robots, and other clutter. Benjamin grabbed a wall fixture and held on to Lemon-Time to keep from being pulled out into space. "Charlie!" Benjamin yelled as he saw his brother's jar fly out the window. Benjamin cursed himself. He had forgotten about his brother again, and now his brother's glass jar was flying out into space. If it drifted too far from the submarine, they'd never get him back. Benjamin let go of Lemon-Time and jumped in hot pursuit. His suit's leg thrusters didn't work, so he pulled himself through the debris. As Benjamin approached the broken window, the metal blast shield rolled down, trying to block his exit. Apparently, this shield was programmed to close in the event of a hull breach. Benjamin slid under the blast shield, aiming his body toward Charlie's jar, which was now tumbling in freefall out in space. "Lemonhead!" Benjamin yelled through the suit radio. "I'm getting Charlie. You hold this blast door open until we get back." Captain Lemon-Time jumped forward, using his strength-augmented spacesuit to hold the metal panel open. Motors groaned and the captain grunted. "This door is heavy. I don't know how long I can hold it." Benjamin, approaching Charlie's jar, yelled back, "You better hold that thing open. If I don't get Charlie back inside fast, we're both goners." Benjamin approached the jar and was relieved to see his jump trajectory was accurate. His brother was inside the jar. He could see Charlie moving his arms about feebly, curling himself into a tight ball. Thankfully, Glockenspiel's jar was airtight, otherwise his brother would be dead by now. They were floating in the shadow of the ship, hidden from the sun by the shadow of the giant submarine. The outer surface of the jar was cold, but it would take a bit longer for the freezing numbness of space to reach Charlie's body. Benjamin was more afraid of the sunlight. When Charlie's jar floated outside of the submarine's shadow, his little brother would suffer the full brunt of the sun's solar radiation. Without cooling systems, that jar would heat up like an oven. Benjamin collided with the jar and scrambled to find a handhold with his fingers. Unfortunately, the glass jar was smooth, and it slipped from his grasp. The two brothers drifted apart in separate directions. "No!" Benjamin yelled in desperation. Something bumped his leg, and Benjamin screamed in surprise until he realized it was the robotic body of the Major Domo robot. The robot was inert and lifeless. Benjamin grabbed the robot, then pushed it away, using its mass to propel himself toward the glass jar again. Before he struck, Benjamin shot the surface of the jar with a ball of superglue and stuck his left hand in the glue, affixing his glove to the jar. "I've got you, little brother," Benjamin yelled. "Where you go, I go." Benjamin looked around, worried. He needed to get back to the ship, fast. Unfortunately, the jet propellers in his suit didn't work in a vacuum, and Noah was out of action. "If only I had installed mega fart power in my suit," Benjamin lamented. "Then I could fart my way back to the ship like the captain did." Benjamin looked around, searching for any space debris he could throw to push him back to the ship. Unfortunately, nothing was in grabbing distance. "Wait a second," Benjamin said to himself. "I don't have fart jets in my butt, but I do have my gas blaster gun and plenty of fart gas ammo rounds." Benjamin pulled out his gas blaster and shot a round experimentally into space. The ball of fart gas flew away, and the recoil pushed his arm backward. Charlie's jar rotated in response. "Yes!" Benjamin yelled. "I can shoot my gas blaster and push us back to the submarine!" Benjamin hugged the jar tight, squinted, and began to shoot his gas blaster in controlled bursts. He shot all of his gas bombs, skunk juice, superglue, and squid ink balls into the void. Bit by bit, the jar slowly moved back toward the submarine. "You're doing it, kid," Lemon-Time called out via the radio. "You're a little off, though." "I can see that," Benjamin growled. The jar was flying back toward the submarine, but their current trajectory would miss the window. If they missed, they would probably bounce off the submarine and fly back into space again. Benjamin activated the capacitor cannon and shot out his remaining graphene bullets. The capacitor bullets were lighter, so they didn't push him as much as he'd like. He then emptied the pockets of his spacesuit. Pulling out tools from a utility belt, he threw them out into space. He threw away his library card, an ultra pacifier, and his computer watch. With every object he tossed, he was able to push the jar closer to the ship. "You're getting closer, kid, but I think you're going to miss." "I know," Benjamin said, frustrated as he calculated the angle. He had run out of things to throw. Except one more thing. Benjamin pulled out the Glockenbrain from his pocket. "Glockenspiel, you deserve to go on trial for what you've done." The boy rammed the computer sphere into the front of his gas blaster, aimed, and squeezed the trigger. Frap. The Glockenbrain shot out into space on a jet of compressed air. The inertia shift was just enough to push Benjamin and Charlie toward the submarine. "Here we come!" Benjamin yelled as they approached the opening. "Keep that door open!" "Hurry up!" Lemon-Time grunted. Benjamin approached the opening. At the last moment, he rotated his body, allowing the jar to float through the window without braining Lemon-Time as they flew by. The captain dropped the blast shield with a bang and rushed over to help Benjamin with the jar. The jar was frosted with frozen moisture, and Benjamin tapped on the glass to get his brother's attention. "Charlie, wake up!" he yelled. Benjamin needed to get Charlie out of that jar. Checking his gauges, he could see that the air pressure was very low inside the cabin. The submarine's oxygen generators were pumping in air to refill the room, but it wouldn't be safe to open the jar for a few more minutes. "Lemon-Time!" he yelled. "Open that doorway over there!" Lemon-Time looked dubious. "But isn't there an army of robots on the other side of that hatch?" "Doesn't matter," Benjamin yelled. "I need to get this room's oxygen and temperature levels up as soon as possible. Open that door and fight off any robots that try to get in." Lemon-Time floated over to the door and pried at the latch. He flew backward as the door flew open and air flooded the room. Lemon-Time climbed to his feet and was relieved to find the ship silent. No robots were in sight. As soon as the room's atmospheric pressure returned to normal, Benjamin popped open the jar and pulled his brother out of his glass prison. "Charlie!" he yelled. "Are you all right?" Charlie's eyes opened and he yawned. "Of course I'm all right. What took you so long?" You've reached the end of Chapter 34. Please consider liking this video, or you could even leave a comment. Then proceed to the story's finale, Chapter 35. One More Thing.